everyone. This is the Popcorn Heroes review of F9, the Fast Saga.
Yep.
Yes, that is the official title for the new Fast and the Furious movie, which is ninth in the series. Yes, I know, it is pointless. I am Armando. With me today is Pedro. What's up, homie?
Hello.
What's going on? So,
Chilling.
Today, Pedro, we are talking about the latest installment of the Fast and the Furious franchise, number 9, F9.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. It made
Yes.
$70 million in the box office this weekend. Bravo.
Damn.
The biggest so far of the pandemic. Let's see if Black Widow beats it 2 weeks from now.
It says here grossed over 404 million worldwide.
Bravo.
Bravo, indeed.
Fast series. Let's see if it holds next weekend, which is the coming weekend, which is the 4th of July weekend. It only has The Purge going up against it, which most likely will not even affect this box office.
No, not at all.
But let's
Not
see
at
if
all.
there's people who, not the hardcore people like me and you, Pedro, who will go see it first weekend, but the casual moviegoer, if they're willing to go watch it now. Because they definitely didn't go watch it the opening weekend.
I
So let's
think
see if it holds.
4th of July weekend, I think 4th of July weekend's pretty big movie-wise, so I would see F9 still making a good chunk of cash. At least, obviously, domestically. I don't know about worldwide, how that's going to work.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens then. I'm excited to find out. Anyways, Pedro, like we usually do, we start off with a quick premise of the movie. Pedro, kick it off.
Oh, man. I actually forgot about the premise, and this one's going to be interesting. So, without spoilers, even
There's
though
a
the
MacGuffin.
trailers did plenty of that, it is. So the premise is Mr. Nobody's plane crashes while he's transporting Cypher, which is Charlize Theron, the villain of the series at this moment. And then right before he crashed, he set out an SOS to the greatest team he's ever worked with, the Fast Group. Out of all the secret agents and everything and all the ties, he said, these guys with the cars, they're the ones we need. And then now they're set out to go and stop this, like you said, the MacGuffin, this Ares device from going out in the open. They can control, what was it? All the electronics or some shit?
I think weapons, some shit like that.
That's it. So that's the premise.
Nice, Pedro. I just feels like I just watched the movie. Thank you, Pedro.
Oh,
Thank you for
you're welcome,
spoiling,
man.
Now, the next thing that we always do, Pedro, we give it a 1 out of 5 and a very, very, very quick breakdown of what we thought. So, Pedro, I'm going to kick it off to you again. What is your 1 out of 5 and your very, very short thoughts?
So I thought about this one very hard, and I am sticking to a solid 3 out of 5. Overall, I liked it. I preferred other ones in the series. I feel like this has gone way more over the top than it should, but at the end of the day, I was expecting over the topness anyways. It just felt a little more of the same as usual. Something I liked about the Fast series for a while is they were kind of tackling a different genre, more or less, each time. But I feel like they're stuck in this espionage. Like he couldn't make any more triple X's, so he ended up just doing this and turning this series into triple X. So I'm kind of like, you could have bumped it up a little more, but you stayed the same. So, but overall, enjoyable. You get the what's the word I'm looking for? The chemistry.
Oh.
The chemistry of the group is still there. You know, you still get the thrills, you still get the over-the-top action that you only get now from Marvel movies. I will say what was lacking was the antagonists were lacking this time around. Usually I'm very interested in them somewhat. But this time I was kind of like, I could have done without it. That's my thing.
I would agree with your 3 out of 5. Definitely is a 3 out of 5. Other ones were way better in the series. I always give it to 5 or 6 to be in the top-notch movies of the series.
Yep. 5 for sure.
And then I agree with what you say, man. It's just this movie's so over the top, man. Jesus. It's like I told you before, it felt like a cartoon, a live-action cartoon of how over the top and ridiculous shit that's happening on screen is happening. Like, I just couldn't believe it.
It was almost parody level.
Yeah, but essentially, at some point, it was parodying itself. Like, they were very aware of their situation. And I'm like, Jesus, I've never...
Yeah.
They've gone super aware for some reason. And, it was just so over the top. But overall, the set pieces were fun. It was an exciting movie. And, would I watch it again? I probably wouldn't watch it again. But it was an okay movie. I mean, the story was pointless. The long lost brother was pointless. I don't know. It was just
spoiler alert. No, I'm just kidding. Anyone that's seen the trailer already knows.
It was just such a over. I just can't get over how over the top. I literally was laughing in the theater as shit was happening, and the funny part was I wasn't the only one. Like, I think people. Don't get me wrong. I went into this movie expecting this. Like, I knew going in here I was gonna get this type of shit, but I just left feeling like, oh my god, this shit was even more crazy than I fucking thought myself.
Yeah,
and everybody was laughing, dude. I mean, I think at this point, people know what this movie is, and what the series has become. If you're seeing it first weekend, you know what it is, and I think that's why the audience was laughing along. Like, I was laughing, people around me was laughing, the guy next to me was laughing. I'm just like. Before I would be the only one laughing, but now everyone is on the joke now. So, I guess people have realized what's going on here. But yeah, that's just over the top. Over the top.
Yeah.
Pedro, would you recommend it to anybody?
I would only recommend this to people that like the other movies, because Fast and Furious is kind of split into 2 camps. I guess maybe 3, but the main 2 camps are, I like the old school shit where it was still about driving, and then there's ones that are like, I like it now that it's Avengers. And then I guess there are the casuals that are like, a movie's a movie, I suppose. But I would only recommend this if you are those Fast and Furious fans that are like, oh yeah, all about street racing. Don't watch this. You're not going to like it at all. One bit. I would only, and recommend's a strong word, because this isn't a bad movie, but there are better Fast movies out there. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't recommend it, I suppose, now that I kind of evaluated myself.
Yeah, I would say...
Because recommend to me is a very strong word,
Yeah, like
I wouldn't say I recommend it.
Yeah.
If it's on TV, you can watch it, absolutely. And it'll be an overall enjoyable film, but I wouldn't say, yo, you gotta watch. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I would say if you've seen this series, if you've watched all 8 movies, you might as well watch 9. There's only 2 left. If you've gotten this far, you might as well just finish it at this point. And you know what you're gonna get into. If you're somebody who's new and or you're going on a date and you're just trying to take somebody to watch a movie and you see Fast 9 and they probably haven't seen the series before, I would definitely not recommend to go see this movie. This movie is not for newcomers. This movie is so over the top that you're gonna actually think that's what the series has always been about, and it's not.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend it at that point. I would, if you don't care and you just want some over the top action, this is it for you. Like, this is the movie for you. But if you want more, this is not for you. So overall, if you've seen the series, you've seen all 8. Go watch it. You're gonna enjoy it, because if you've enjoyed the last 8, you're gonna enjoy this one, even though it's over the top.
Agreed.
You will enjoy it.
Yeah.
But apart from that, go at your own. At your own will. Yeah. I wouldn't say to somebody, yo, you should definitely go watch that new movie. It was hot.
Yeah.
I would not. I definitely.
100%.
But then let's get into it, Pedro. Spoilers ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Spoilers ahead.
Spoilers ahead.
Spoilers.
All right.
Cool.
Before we chow down into the movie itself, I kind of want to take a moment to step back to admire their naming conventions for these movies.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
I have the list here with the actual titles they went out by. And let's take a look at how ridiculous they were and not matching in any way. You have The Fast and the Furious, Part 1. You have Too Fast, Too Furious, which is Part 2.
Great, that's a good one.
The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, which is Part 3. Then you have Fast and Furious, which is Part 4. Fast 5, 5. Fast and Furious 6, which is 6. Then you just have Furious 7, that's 7. And then you have The Fate of the Furious, that's Part 8. I was very disappointed they didn't spell fate with F8. They actually spelled it out. Very missed opportunity there. And then, of course, we have F9, The Fast Saga. So, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude. It's a clusterfuck of titles, essentially.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I understand.
I liked Robot Chicken's version before Part 3 came out. They were like, 3 Fast, 3 Furious.
You know, I think Fast 5 was good. You know, the Furious 7 makes sense because I think there's 7 of them, so I think that makes sense. But it's just
they're all over.
There's no consistency in these titles, and especially this one. Like this one made no sense. We already know the saga.
F9.
It was so dumb.
Oh, okay. And then I liked how this one guy was saying, does the F stand for fast or does the F stand for furious? I don't know. It's just F9.
I don't know. It's just ridiculous, dude, at this point. It's insane. All
right.
But yeah, let's get into it, Pedro. Let's start off with the opening sequence, which was so outrageous. It was outrageous.
Wait, the opening sequence was a flashback, though. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, wait. So, let's take this back. I didn't see the very, very beginning of the movie.
Oh, you missed it.
I came in when, right before, when they were in like the farmhouse, and then Ludacris, Tyrese, and the girl come. That's where I started watching it.
Yeah, with the hacker, Ramsey.
Yeah, exactly.
So the movie starts. I mean, you already kind of saw it because they started showing the flashback scenes, but you saw the actual 1989 scene where Jack Toretto is racing, and then he's talking with his sons who are in the pit crew, and then he has Jacob go and check the hood, and then you see Merle from Walking Dead there and all that. So you see that conversation go out, and then his dad's kind of telling him like, "We got this," you know, like pretty much motivating shit. And then you see the douchebag driver that's kind of after him, and then you see how he causes the wreck. Like he was trying to clip him, and then they were like, the father Toretto, Jack Toretto, he was kind of like trying to brake and accelerate to try and miss the ramming, but because that's when the engine failed, he couldn't like pop up a gear and accelerate, so he got hit. And when he got hit, it clipped him, and he flew up and then flew into the stands, and his car blew up, and that's how he died. So they blamed the driver for that, which I think you already saw that part where you see him react to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was it. You just missed the actual accident and the chit chat between the father and son. They didn't even focus on Jacob in that beginning. You just kind of see him, but at this point in the movie, because it's the very beginning, you're supposed to think he's just another guy in the pit crew. He doesn't acknowledge him as a brother yet. That's the reveal of like, oh, it's my brother, it's Jacob. And then you're like, oh no. And then, yeah. So that's really all you missed was just the flashback sequence.
I get it now. Okay, yeah. Shit,
but over the top now.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about that sequence. I'm just like, if they wanted it to be so much of a reveal, why the fuck would they put it in the trailers?
Yeah. Well, there was another reveal that they showed in the trailers too.
Oh yeah, that was the Han reveal. That was so pointless, dude.
They're like, it's his brother reveal, and it's like, okay, fine, that's the hook to get people to watch it. But then you got the other reveal, Han's back, and it's like, oh, okay, got it, cool.
What a waste, though. I think that should have definitely been saved just for the movie.
Yeah,
because
the Han reveal should have been the reveal that surprises you, while the brother one should have been like, okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because seeing it in the trailer, like, oh, okay, cool, it's great. Han is back. I mean, in the trailer, you're like, oh my god, Han is back. That's insane. Like, how is he back? What's going on? And like, it just made you start thinking. And then since you already know that, and you're watching the movie, you're like, okay. My whole time I was like, all right, when is Han coming? I was like, when is he coming back? I spent the whole movie thinking about at what point is Han gonna get into the fucking fold.
Yeah. So,
but it was the over the top scene was the opening sequence. You know, it's so ridiculous. So they're driving and they're hitting landmines, and they're like, yo, and then Ludacris for some reason is a genius now. And he's like, yo, according to my calculations...
He's been a genius. He's been a genius in Fast 5. I think that was one of the jokes we were talking about. We were like, guy's a genius. So
it was since Fast 5, and which you never saw him portray that in Too Fast or Furious. But regardless, anyway, right? Ludacris is a genius, and he's just like, oh my god, you know, according to my calculations, you have to be hitting at least 80 miles per hour to survive these landmines. And they're all just booking it, cars exploding, shit's going crazy. They're getting hit, but for some reason their car is still surviving. And then the best part is that they get to the bridge, which is essentially a rope bridge, and they're riding it, and it's falling apart, and they're still riding the bridge. I'm just like, how ridiculous is that? You're riding the bridge as it's falling off. Like, that's insane. That's physically not. It's impossible because there's no tension for your tires to roll on. You're essentially just gonna be free falling. And then the funniest part is when the bridge finally falls down. It's like when those scenes where the bridge falls and then it shows the cliff, but you know the person's gonna grab because they grab, and they go to the cliff and then you see the car zoom out. I'm like, how is it zooming out? Yeah,
you went a full 90 degrees upward, just boom.
How's that even possible? Oh my god, so over, dude. I was laughing, man. And then people were laughing about that too. It's insane. And then on top of that, you had Dom, which takes the last rope off this bridge and swings the car to the other side of the mountain.
He Tarzan swings with his car.
Tarzan swings with the car, slams into the mountain, and then rolls around. And for some fucking reason, nothing happened to them.
They slammed into the mountain when they landed.
They slammed into the mountain and they rolled and they slammed again. I'm just like, how the fuck is this? I think it would have been more believable if they would have swung and the car would have flew and then just landed. I think I would have believed that more than a car slamming into the mountain, rolling around, and then landing with a big thud. Like
the whole car part was ridiculous. If it would have been them getting out of their car and swinging and cutting the rope and actually swinging in person, that would have been better. But the fact that they did it with a car is already the crazy part.
It's so insane that I just couldn't believe how ridiculous. And this is just the opening sequence of this fucking film. Ridiculous.
That was, but honestly, even though there's a lot of crazy shit in the movie, that was probably the weirdest one for me because it was so random. It was so random. It didn't make sense in the scheme of everything else. That was the weirdest one, the Tarzan swing. That one really made me go, "Yep, you guys fucking did it." Someone wrote the storyboard for that, and they were like, "This shit's gonna be hot." I'm like, "All right." I guess.
The other funny part was the Tyrese fake out, which clearly it was obvious he wasn't gonna die. Where the car he was in gets hit by a landmine, flips into a mountain, it wedges between two cliffs essentially, and then he has to get out. There's a landmine directly right under the wedging of the two cliffs. He gets off. The truck falls, blows up, flips, and the movie makes it seem like it lands on him. and he is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I was laughing so hard, dude, because this is so outrageous. Like, I think it would have been awesome if he would have died. Like, I think it would have made the movie for me.
They would never do it so unceremoniously. But before that, I'm trying to remember the events. He did the AK shootout before the landmine, right? Or was it?
Yes. Oh my god.
He did the AK shootout. So the joke was that he was like, "Oh no, I'm surrounded," and surrounded above, below, everywhere, completely surrounded by like 8 to 10 people, and he just pulls out an AK and somehow guns them all down, and they shot at him, and then he just has holes in his jackets where it barely grazed him, and then that's where the whole "I'm invincible" jokes come in. So they keep playing with it with the mine scene that you're talking about. He's still invincible. Yeah.
Yo, that's both of those scenes were ridiculous. Like, I honestly thought it was a fake out to show that like somebody came to save him. Like, I thought that was where Han came into the picture. I'm like, oh shit, Han saved him. That's awesome. And then nobody saved him. Like, how did he end up shooting everybody? Like, when has Tyrese ever in his entire series had that good of enough of an aim to be able to kill everybody?
Never.
I'm just like, oh my god, this is so insane.
It's he got saved by literal plot armor. So, yeah. And they admitted it. And then they tried getting a little self-aware, which was kind of funny, but then they kept making it go on like, oh yeah, I'm invincible. Nothing can happen to us. And they're trying to wink at you through the, all kind of break the fourth wall, and you're like, I get it, but it's still weird. It was one of those. Dude, I'm like, all right, cool.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was fucking funny. It's funny, dude. Like, at this point, it's an over-the-top comedy for me, man. Because the whole time, I was just laughing. I'm like, how outrageous can this get, Oh, my God. And then, it leads into the MacGuffin, whatever it is.
Yeah, the Ares and all that. Yeah. And then, of course, we got the reveal of the brothers. So, overall, how did you feel about Jacob, Dom's long-lost brother that's been missing for 7 movies?
I thought it was pointless, dude. You know what I think would have made it better if he actually was, regardless, Jacob did help out he was part of his dad's racing pit crew, right? I think would have been funnier is if he was just a worker, and he's the one who fucked him up.
I think I think it would have been better to not redeem him. I think it would have been better to just have him actually, I don't know, for some reason he hated his dad, and then he actually killed him, like actually did it, and then kind of like, I don't want you anymore. Either Dom actually did what he just did, where it's kind of like, don't talk to me, don't see me, you're not my brother anymore, and that explains why he never talks about him, because he's like, you're not family. And then kind of have the movie play along with the whole family dynamic by saying that sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you're born with, and just keep him as a villain.
Yeah, that would have been
just
cool.
Straight up. The fact that they redeemed him is like, it would have been a better message overall to not redeem him, make him full-blown cold-blooded killer. Like, some people are just born that way, man. Some people are just born psychotic and bad. You could have made him like a sociopath brother or some shit. Yeah. I think they should have gone full in, because the whole reason of why he became a secret agent badass, that it didn't make sense. It was a shitty origin story. I would have preferred he's a sociopath from the get-go, and fuck it, he just liked to kill people, just liked to get shit done, do weird shit, and then that just happens to. It's still unlikely, don't get me wrong, because everything in this series is, but it's a better thing than I wanted my brother and my family's love, so I became a terrorist for hire. Come on, that's weird. That's so weird.
No, absolutely. And I think the point you just made right now is a very good point. Like, it's family are the people you choose rather than the ones you're born with. And I think that's a stronger message, because there's a lot of people out there who don't have families or who have shitty families, and then end up, making a family of their own. and that's a family of their choice, whether it be with friends or their own personal family, So I think that message would have been stronger to put, and it would have made more sense within the confines of the film. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree with everything you just said right now. Absolutely.
Yeah. I as I'm watching it, I'm like, don't redeem him. Don't have him kill someone on the team if you have to. Don't fucking redeem him. And then they have that moment where the bad guy betrays him, and then suddenly they're like, oh, it's cool, dude. They betrayed you. I got your back because you're family. I'm like, oh, you fucking son of a bitch. I swear, stupid, you got to make a drinking game with these movies. Of every time they say family, you take a shot. You'll be hammered halfway into the movie.
Oh, absolutely!
Holy fuck!
Yeah, it makes and the fact that the way he became good again, or how they quote unquote redeemed him, just because he got betrayed, that makes him good.
Yeah,
like so. You spent the last 20 something years being a fucking villain. Not in the confines of this film, just in general doing crazy shit, because clearly, if you're helping out this fucking dumb guy take over missiles, it's because you've done sketchy shit,
And it's not even that he worked for Mr. Nobody and he was like a quote unquote good guy. No, he was the mole. He was the mole because it said he's the one that betrayed them. So he's been bad. Period. Like he's a bad guy, and why are you doing? I don't know. It's just I would have definitely preferred the route of like, yo, he's just a bad egg, man. That's it. There's no helping, because that goes along with family and friends. There's just someone. There's some people that you can only help so many times. And then you're just like, yeah, you're just that person. That's it. I would have preferred that message overall, because they showed many times throughout the movie the guy's bad.
Oh, yeah, well. He had no.
I haven't seen this big a 180 of a character since Jason Statham's character. And there was a reason for that one. They wanted to give him a spin-off series.
Yeah, it makes sense. You have an idea of reason why, and I think they're trying to do the same thing with this guy, but they sure just made him a villain. I think seeing John Cena be a portrayal villain is far more entertaining than him trying to be a good guy.
Yeah, for sure. It also goes against his persona, because everyone knows him. He's the hero in wrestling. He's always a good guy. He acts like a badass, sure, but he's always a good guy. It would have been nice to have a character where it's like, nah, this isn't the John Cena. This is a black hat John Cena.
Yeah, absolutely.
They missed an opportunity.
And even when the fact where you said that, like, there's always a bad egg, like, that would have been cool to see that. This is the bad egg of the family that Vin Diesel's character has tried so hard to maintain,
Yeah, so, not everyone has to be. This isn't Dragon Ball. You don't got to redeem everyone in that fucking series, It's just, yeah, man.
Wasted opportunity, absolutely, for sure. But now we have Charlize Theron, which is the actual villain now.
Yeah, so I felt that it should have been her from the get-go. I don't like that they added this other guy named Otto, who's like, oh, I'm rich, I'm spoiled, I'm a rich bitch, blah, blah, I'm gonna take over the world. And then Dom's brother's like just his henchman, It should have been Dom's brother, who was the mole, because we already mentioned he was a mole already. He just wanted to take Mr. Nobody's ship down to grab the MacGuffin and grab her. And then that's it, and start shit back up again. That's what it should have been.
Oh, or essentially, that's her escape plan all along, was Dom's brother. Some shit like that. Like that, she knew all this already,
Yeah. Instead, they tried to set up where they use her as a little bit of like a Hannibal Lecter. Like, hey, you're too evil to set free, but we still need you for your knowledge. I thought that was useless. It was useless.
Could have been any other character, or just not have that entirely.
Yeah, if you were going to do that, at least make it more interesting. It was kind of pointless. Like, there wasn't enough. There should have been... It would have been cooler to have more dialogue of her, like, helping them out Hannibal Lecter style, to have a payoff. But the fact that she was just there, didn't really have lines until she kind of insulted them, and then she got out at the end.
Yeah. It was an easy paycheck for her. Definitely an easy paycheck.
Yeah.
She probably filmed that in like 2 days.
Yeah, easily. Sitting there, legs crossed, says some badass lines, and then that's it, because the other scene was the drone scene. That's it. You're done. You're done with all of your scenes.
Wrapped up.
Yeah. I admit she's a good villain for the series. It's just poorly used here. That Otto guy had to go.
Yeah. Yeah, they wasted so much time on him when they could have just developed Cypher more.
Yeah.
Because in the first movie, you don't really know her that... I mean, in the last movie, you don't really know her that well either. So it's kind of like she was just there, did villain stuff, and then they stopped her. So like this movie could have delved in more into who she is and why she's doing what she does.
Yeah, I would have preferred maybe she has a group of agents that she turned, and Jacob just happens to be one of them, and she used him. You know, you could have wrote it in at any point. She's using him for this mission instead of the last one for whatever reason. They've written weirder shit. That could have been easy.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's funny watching her and doing these scenes. I'm like, damn, she would have actually been a great Captain Marvel. if those rumors were ever to be true. Because I'm watching it, I'm like, damn, she still looks young, and she's acting amazing. She's acting very menacing, but still being like sexy and herself.
We talked about it. I don't think we talked about it on the podcast. We talked about it outside, and we mentioned that she has presence. That's the big thing.
Yes, there presence. You go. That's what I was looking for. She has that presence, man. Holy shit.
When she's in a scene, you listen, you watch. You're like, oh shit.
She takes it over, dude. She takes it over.
Yeah, she has that. So as a villain, as a hero, it doesn't matter what it is. Atomic Blonde, the would-be Captain Marvel, she would have killed she kills every scene she's in. So
yeah, man. She's a
so that
great
was
actress.
that was my complaints about the antagonists. You know. Misused and misused. Both misused.
How did you feel of Han coming back?
That's exactly what I was going to get to. So, I'm glad he's back.
I am too. I love Han so much.
Yeah, he's great. But the way they brought him back was the definition of underwhelming. Because his car flips in the middle of a busy-ass city where everyone is looking at his car from all 360 fucking degrees. And you watch it twice. You watch it in Tokyo Drift, his car blow up. You see all the car. And you watch it again at the end of part 6. Again. And then they decide to go, wait a minute. Somehow, some way, he teleported to a nearby building and was talking to Mr. Nobody. And Mr. Nobody goes, you like my magic trick? I'm like, yeah. What the fuck was that?
What exactly was the magic trick? Because I still don't fucking understand what he did or what happened or how it happened.
I don't know what the magic trick was. He ran over there and pulled him? That can't be the magic trick. Was there a magical manhole down there? And then they crawled in and they just as quickly crawled back into that building? I don't know. And I don't think they want you to know. I think that was them admitting where he says, oh, my magic trick, not my best. I could have done better. Something along those lines. I think that was their way of saying, don't think about it too hard. It's fucking plot armor movie magic. It's what Game of Thrones was doing to us in the last season. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, a lot of stupid shit happening for no reason.
Fast 9 pulled what the D&D brothers did to us.
So the fire kind of forgot to blow up.
Yeah. So I was very let down by the reveal. Not the reveal. The way it was done. I was very let down by the way it was done. It was nice to see him, but I would have preferred him to have a bigger role. And I thought it was a huge letdown that they didn't bring in the rest of the Tokyo Drift crew for anything important.
Oh my god. What a waste.
They were here for no reason. They were street racers that were specialized in drifting, and suddenly they're rocket scientists in Germany. Makes no sense. Even with 5 movies in between them, it still makes no sense. And then you use them. You didn't even give them a proper Han moment. What they did was they did the Leia and Chewbacca scene in fucking Force Awakens, where it's like a quick little like they look at each other, they do that slow-mo look and nod, and they're like, yeah, and they hug or some shit, and that's it. That was not. That was terrible.
Yeah, I was actually waiting for that. Pretty much as soon as Han came in, and then as soon as I saw these people, like, oh man, I can't wait to see them together again, because you had an entire movie with them, so you know that reunion probably meant more
That was Han's new family. Yeah.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Because Han, chronologically, Han had Doms as a family, right? But then when Wonder Woman died, we're just gonna call her by that. When Wonder Woman died, he was like, damn, I'm gonna go to my Mexico. And then he gets a new family. How are you gonna come back from the dead and ignore your last family, you know? Weird.
Which in reality was kind of his it was his family. Because he chose those people. He made those friendships. He made those connections. You know, on the other one, it was just kind of being chosen. Like, hey, I know somebody from Tokyo who does some cool, who knows how to do cool shit, you know? But this is actually the family he chose. So it kind of sucks that it was just glazed over at a barbecue, you know? Like, I didn't want to see that.
Very, very big letdown.
Yeah, I did not want to see it that way. I wanted actually to spend time together and talk.
Yeah, so the movie is 2 hours and 25 minutes. It's a long movie, but you could have cut. You could have cut significantly some antagonist moments that didn't really do anything and added more of what we wanted to see. We don't care about the villains. At the end of the day, we care about the family, you know? So why not? Why not have everyone have their moment? It was just so strange for the Tokyo Drift crew to not get their moment. And Bow Wow was completely pointless because he didn't even show up in the other scene at the end. I don't know if it's because they couldn't get him because he wasn't at the barbecue. No, he was at the barbecue with the Corona.
No, he was at the barbecue. He wasn't in the middle scene.
Yes, he wasn't flying the plane. You're right.
Which was stupid. He could have just been there hanging out like he always does because that's his character to always just be hanging out, you know? I don't know.
It was just
so much waste. So much waste.
I feel they shouldn't have even brought them back for this one. Just save it for 10. Where they're actually part of the crew and do shit. The fact that they did a reveal like this just to reveal that they fuck around with rockets was pointless.
Very pointless. And they didn't even mention the girlfriend that he had. Like, if what happened to her, he's still with her. You know, nothing. Give me some follow up on these guys' story. You know, it's been X amount of years.
He went to Germany for some reason with these guys. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the point. Like, you bring them up and you don't give them their backstory still. You know,
and they were actually like respectable, except the other Asian dude, the one from Warrior. He was kind of the nerd, but they were kind of like they weren't geeks like they were here. They portrayed them here as the absolute fucking nerds. Like, I know they kept making jokes of that Ludacris was the nerd, but these guys made Ludacris look like the cool one. So
yeah, exactly. And this guy was the Drift King.
Yeah,
he was essentially the
Donkey Kong,
the king of underground racing, essentially in Tokyo. And how did he become a rocket scientist?
Yeah,
like, come on, dude. Like, give me some back. And what's crazy about this is that this is Justin Lin's characters. Like, that's his movie. These people are from his movie.
Yeah, he did the screenplay for this. I got a feeling there were more scenes, but it was probably a 3-hour movie, and they chopped it down to 2.5. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I think they just wasted too much time.
2.5's a long fucking movie. Yeah. They wasted too much time on other shit.
They wasted too much time introducing us to a new villain that ended up dying at the end of the movie, when it could have just been Cypher, someone we already know.
Right.
Like, this movie could have been streamlined better, and I think it could have literally been streamlined.
Yeah.
There were just so many moments missed.
They were trying so hard to make the meme of them going to space come alive. You could have cut the whole space storyline.
Yeah,
completely.
It didn't make sense. Mm-hmm.
The fact that they went to space and they had the audacity to mention a line that this is actual physics, this is math, we got to follow these numbers, this is real shit. I'm like, you guys Tarzaned on a car. But yeah, physics, right? These numbers got to be right because, you know, fuck it.
Yeah, I think that whole satellite thing, it could only be taken down from space. I'm like, dude, any satellite could be taken out from the ground. They're like, you don't need to go to space to take out a satellite. I think it would have been better just for them, you know, stealing a rocket or something and shooting it up into space. I don't know, do some crazy shit like that.
Stealing something, yeah. And they definitely just wanted a scene where they went to space to make it funny.
Yeah, to make the meme. That's essentially what it was.
To make the meme a real thing. What are they gonna do? Go to space? And they're like, challenge accepted. That's what happened.
We're going to space now.
Yeah.
You didn't even know how they got back down. You know, all this other shit.
Well, they got back down because they went to the space station. Remember, the space station went over and waved them and said, "Minions."
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
So they probably just said, "Come here, dock yourself in, and yeah, be stuck in space with us." I don't know. That was just.
How did you like the flashbacks? The Dom flashbacks with the brother.
I actually liked them. I actually enjoyed them. The main reason why I enjoyed it so much is it brought it back to the first Fast movie, where it was back about street racing, because you kind of see that. You kind of get that feel a little bit. And I like that it was actors and not, digitally making them younger, because that would have been weird. Yeah, at this point, the de-aging would have been weird. I preferred that it was, the young actors. And I was trying to remember where I've seen this guy before. And the one that played as Jacob, he's from Peaky Blinders. Now, the whole time watching it, I'm like, where the fuck do I know that kid from?
I've never seen it.
Yeah, he's one of the guys in Peaky Blinders. So I'm like, he's fucking British.
Yeah, he did a good American accent.
Yeah, he did. So I thought the flashback scenes were good.
I think the funniest thing here is the joke, the ongoing joke now is like, how the fuck did how did he grow so much in his 20s?
Yes. Oh my God, I was thinking the same thing. So when they had the young actors, standing next to themselves, I'm like, how did he grow 1.5 feet like that? Like, I understand. Yeah, my brother. I need to do 5 million push-ups. Cool, but that ain't gonna make you grow. Like, are you wearing platform boots? Like, holy shit. A very, very, very late growth spurt, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's probably what the most ridiculous part of the. I mean, I wouldn't say that. It's one. It adds to the ridiculousness of this movie of just kind of like, why couldn't you just get actors that are the same height?
Yeah.
He just played it off,
yeah.
Especially if they're portraying themselves like in their 20s, because Dom wasn't in high school at this point, right? Or what were they still supposed to be in high school?
I don't know. I mean, in high school would make more sense, because I guess in high school you could still do your growth spurts, So
Dom went to jail when he was in high school? Was he in juvie?
Dom's older than him.
Yeah, but did he go to juvie? I don't remember now.
No, I'm pretty sure he was tried as an adult, like an actual prison time. So he was already past his 18. But Jack, the brother, was probably juvie. Not juvie. What I meant is juvie age. So sure, I guess if we're playing devil's advocate, he could be in his high school teens, and then he could have grown his extra 1.5 feet. But what threw me off was that this is the brother that, he didn't mention to anyone, but then Letty goes, "Is that Jacob?" So I'm like, wait, she knew him? And I'm like, oh, that's right. They're supposed to know each other from when they were children, I guess. I was kind of weirded out that they didn't do like a young Letty, like there, maybe cheering them on, and she was there for when the dad died.
No, she was there at the end when they were racing.
No, she didn't show up. No, she didn't show up. No.
Yeah. At the when he was gonna do the race, he's like, "Oh, if I beat you, you never come back again." And
she was the one in the middle.
Your family. She was one of the girls that were there, and then there was the guy who looked like his friend, the one that died in Fast 5.
Oh, I didn't even catch any of the other people. Maybe that was references to all the people from the first one.
Yeah, it was.
But so I'm guessing I'm guessing the sister must have been there somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, she was. She was the smallest one out of all of them.
I didn't even catch any of that.
I think Letty was the one who waved the race, who started the race.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think that was Letty.
I guess that makes more sense, because I'm like, yo, where the fuck is the rest of the family? But if they were the other actors, then okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I the flashbacks weren't bad. It was just that whole height thing that threw me off.
Yeah, the height thing's pretty bad. Now, going into the movie, I knew it was going to be about the brother, which obviously means you got to bring in the sister. But the tricky thing with the sister is that you can't bring Paul Walker because he's dead. So you have to keep him written off that he's with his family, is whatever. I did like the way they danced around it, that he's taking care of the kids. He's taking care of Dom's kid and his kids. And the fact that they're the safest with him, that was a very good way to write him off. It's better than I thought they were going to do. And them ending it with him coming back just in time, like they ended it right when he's about to get out of the car. I thought that was a great way to end it too. So they played it very tastefully to keep him in the picture and not in the picture.
Yeah, they did a good dancing around, but what I didn't like is that Paul Walker's character I don't think he would have ever let her do that, because he's always talking about protecting her and doing things for her. Because if you think back in Fast 5 or Fast 4, he didn't want her to do things with him. Like he was like trying to protect her, but I think he let her do it because they were doing it together. But I don't think him as a character would have let her go by herself.
Yeah, probably.
And that's what threw me off, because I'm just like, Brian wouldn't do that. He wouldn't let that happen. And the fact that the kid is named Brian is also fucking stupid, dude.
Yeah.
They should have just called him Paul. They should have called the kid Paul.
Wait, who's Paul? Oh, because Paul Walker. Oh,
Paul Walker.
I got you. Yeah.
Because they called the kid after the Brian, which is he's alive in the show in the movie. So why the fuck would you call the kid Brian? Why would you name your kid the name of your brother-in-law? It's stupid.
Yeah,
it's idiotic.
I think it's like an old school thing. It's an old school thing of where you name your kid after someone that you admire or someone that you respect. That's like a very OG thing that you do.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it would have just made more sense.
You're taking it. I'm still taking it in character. Like in character, Dom respects Brian, so he's gonna name his kid after someone he respects. Brian. You're thinking of it more as a rest in peace for the actor Paul Walker, and they're naming it Brian as like a callback. I don't think it's that way. If that were the case, then Paul would make more sense. You're right.
I honestly think that he named it Brian because of Paul Walker dying, and they just didn't want to be obvious and say Paul, but they should have just done the obvious and called him Paul. It would have made more sense. I personally think it was like my kid's name is Paul,
Yeah, if it was Paul, it would have been more of a wink to the camera, like, yep, good old Paul Walker. But I still think it's in character for, hey, Brian's this guy. It's just kind of funny that you're right. They did mention Brian, and they're like, little Brian. I'm like, oh yeah, you really got to mention it now because there's two fucking Brians here. Yeah,
it's like I honestly feel also that Brian looks up more to Dom than Dom looks up to Brian. So it's kind of like, and not even Brian called his son Dom. So it's kind of like, why would you do that? It just doesn't fucking make sense.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. But yeah, you may be onto something. But yeah, it's still.
Oh my god. But is overall, the movie was okay. It was just there's just a lot of stupid things.
We got to talk about one more thing that to me came out of complete left field, and maybe you can explain this to me. Maybe it makes more sense to you than it does to me. Every Fast and Furious movie has a guest star that's a musical artist. Yep. And the musical artist for this movie was Cardi B, who her and her girls were undercover as the security team for the villain. Now, what the fuck was that all about?
No, they were Interpol agents.
Interpol, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Interpol agents.
He called
call Interpol and get Dom, and then it's Cardi B and her girls.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Dom, we got you. I'm like, wait, what?
Like, how did you know Dom was there? How did you know that they were gonna call Interpol to get Dom? Like, how did you know all these things?
Dom didn't even know he was gonna be there because it was British badass mom that brought him there. He didn't even know he was gonna be there, and then he's there, and then he gets Interpol caught on him, and then it's like, what is this shit? This is crazy, like actually crazy.
It didn't make sense. It was a pointless cameo, which they could have probably used it somewhere else in the movie. But
they could have they could have used it. Yeah, they could have used it anywhere in the movie. Anywhere. I would have honestly Hear me out. I would have honestly preferred Cardi B and her girls to be the rocket scientists over the Tokyo Drift people at this point. Can you imagine her saying a bunch of equations and shit? Her being like, can you imagine how funny that would be if she outsmarted everyone? That would have been straight comedy.
That would have been hilarious. You're right.
Ha ha ha! You got to do the physics, and they're the ones that make them. They go to space because of her and her crew. That would have been a fucking cameo. Not that shit.
Damn, dude, Pedro, you're writing a better movie than the fucking writers did.
This dude. That would have been so good, so funny to show them as the real geniuses.
Pedro, we gotta remake Fast 9, man.
You really do, man. Really do.
Oh my god, that's true though. Like I think that would have made more sense for because them just popping up out of nowhere didn't make sense, and it didn't flow with the movie itself. So it's kind of how did these ladies know that he was gonna be there? How did they know?
He didn't even know he was gonna be there.
Exactly, or at least give it a nod as to of Dom saying, "Oh, thanks for keeping an eye out for my button or my thing or the whatever X thing that called you here," you know,
or like, something, right?
Like something he could have triggered something, like or done a little wink, like like my watch or something, or in my belt, and like something, dude.
It just gave me more questions because now I'm like, are they actually Interpol agents or were they undercover as Interpol agents just because they knew Dom was gonna get caught? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
There's more. They were trying to pull what the Ocean's movies kept doing with Matt Damon's character, where his mom would come in and his dad would come in, but that was played for laughs because you knew, oh man, the dad really works for this, the mom really works for this. Mm-hmm. They played it off better with that. In this one, they tried, but there was no backup. Yeah. And in the Ocean's movies, they always mention, "Oh, my dad's on the phone. Oh, my mom." You know, there was that foreshadowing that their parent is going to come into play. And then when they come out, you're like, "Oh, the whole movie, that's the mom." Oh, there was no the whole time. Where's Cardi B at? No, there was nothing. It was weird. Yeah. It was weird.
As I was saying, like at least Dom should have winked. Like, "Oh, thanks for getting my SOS. I didn't think you were going to," or something like that, you know.
Or at least have her show up in the beginning. Or have her show up in the beginning and be like, "Yo, if you ever need me to get you out of something, you know, I got you." And then bam, she shows up again and she's like, "Oh, that's when she's gonna help." Something. There was no setup whatsoever. Yeah,
absolutely weird. No setup. Absolutely. That it was a funny cameo though. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest part is taking it back to the beginning of the movie is when Dom's brother jumps off the cliff and then the plane catches him in the air. I'm like, oh, that was sick, dude. That was awesome. Like that, I could believe that one, you know.
Out of all the ridiculous shit, that's the one, yeah.
The ending of the movie with the fucking magnets.
Oh, dude. Imagine how many people they would have really murdered with that weapon. Like, you're doing more damage than Godzilla versus Kong right now.
Oh, God.
But here's the part that really blows my mind. Why wasn't anything magnetizing to them? Is it supposed to be that they're driving so fast that it magnetizes behind them? Is that the physics that they're trying to make you think?
I think that was the physics they were trying to make because earlier in the movie, when they were magnetizing things, it would come to them. In this, when they were driving, it was like this picking it up, you know, as they were driving. Yeah. So that whole scene didn't make sense to me. But it was weird. Fun to watch.
How fast do you need to be driving to do that? Yeah. Physics aside, fuck it. It was a really cool set piece.
It was. Yeah. It was really.
They were using like crazy. Like they were sucking things, magnetizing things in, magnetizing things out. It was all over the place. I'm like, fuck it. Why not? Why not?
It was essentially a crutch. It was a crutch to them for that sequence. That whole thing was used that way. Which was pretty cool. I enjoyed it, but the physics wise, it was just ridiculous. Like that's not possible. Like why didn't they stick to each other? If they're going about the same speed, they could have magnetized each other. Or no, but opposite magnets repel each other. So no.
Yeah, we're just gonna hurt our brains trying to make sense of this movie, but so. another quick thing is obviously the main reason why Han is back is because of the whole Justice for Han thing. Now, what I'm getting at is we already said that the magic trick was really weird, but the other thing was that Mr. Nobody said that Jason Statham was still an agent of his that he used to fake his death. Now, they might be explaining it.
He used it because he's like, oh, I used them because he went rogue, so I used them. So like he manipulated the situation to use the rogue agent to kill Han.
Maybe
that's what he said.
I
had
guess
an
we'll find
agent
out
who
in the
went
next
rogue.
one.
He's like, I had an agent who went rogue, so I used them to do what I needed to do.
John Cena said he was the rogue agent, not Statham. That's where it got weird. Because I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, okay. And then John Cena's like, I was the rogue agent. I'm like, oh, wait, what? So what was Jason Statham doing? Was he still on the payroll?
Mr. Nobody had two rogue agents, dude. You know, that's how it was.
Sure, you're right. Why not? Han died twice, but, the third time's the charm. He stayed alive. Okay, I get it. So, I guess...
whole point.
Well, did you stay for the after credits?
Yes, the Jason Statham and Han meetup.
Yeah. So that's how we'll find out whether he really knew that he faked Han's death or he really thought he killed him.
But it seemed like Jason Statham was shocked when he saw Han though.
Yeah, it seems like
he
it.
Had
but
a shocked face, like, oh. But
maybe.
But this is how you're bringing back Jason Statham from Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah,
that's how you're bringing him back. They're not bringing back The Rock. Clearly, they're not.
Not yet. I don't know. Maybe they can go. So we talked about this a little bit, but all right, let's talk about what do we think the next one's going to be. Like where they're going at. So part 10's a two-parter. What if The Rock comes out in the second part of it? He's in the after credits of part 1 of 10-1, but he comes out in 10-2. Kind of like how in Endgame is where we got everyone back. You know what I mean? I think they're gonna go that route.
Yeah, maybe they will. Anything can happen at this point. But you know what I want to see more than seeing The Rock back into the series?
Uh-oh.
I want to see Don Omar and Tego back.
Dude, Tego wasn't there. I was like, what?
I know, dude. Don Omar was there, but I'm just like, where's Tego, dude? I want to see Tego. They're supposed to be inseparable.
So I couldn't remember, but I thought he died, and I thought that's why he didn't show up at the end. I'm like, damn, did Tego die and I didn't know? Because he didn't show up at the barbecue, but Don Omar did. That's weird. So, yeah, Tego will obviously be back if, I had to check. I'm like, are you dead? Oh, no, you're still alive. They just didn't want to be in the movie for some reason.
But that's the point. It's just like, it was always Tego and Don Omar. Like, they were always together. Even in the flashback in prison, they were together. So
I didn't recognize... Because I don't know any of the Spanish artists. I know their names and I know how they sound, but I don't know how they look. So apparently Osuna was one of them, was one of the young versions.
Oh, really? Interesting. I didn't know that.
It says Sered and Osuna portray the young versions of Leo and Santos. Oh, so he was Santos. So Santos is... I don't remember which one Santos is, actually.
I think that's Tego, right?
Maybe... No. I think he's supposed to be the young version of Don Omar. Whatever. Anyways. So, since there were memes about space and they did it, there's a lot of memes about Fast and Furious and dinosaurs. Do you think that part 10's going to do time travel? Hear me out. They went to space. What's the next frontier, right?
Dude. No,
they're going to do time travel, and then they're going to go back and start fucking being chased by T-Rexes and raptors, and then they could bring back everyone that's ever been in the series.
No, dude. I wouldn't do flashbacks, but I wouldn't do a time travel. If they want to do anything, they could just do what DC and Marvel are doing, the multiverse.
Oh my god. You see, it's the same shit, though.
And that's how they get Jurassic Park in there. And they bring back Gal Gadot. And they bring Eva Mendes back and all this shit, That's how they do it with the multiverse.
I always said the space shit was ridiculous, and then they did it. And then now there's a lot of talk of the dinosaurs. I say that's ridiculous. All of that's ridiculous. But now, you know what? I don't even fucking know anymore. Because it seems like Universal just says, what? You dare me? I got you.
They'll just they'll just merge it with Jump Street or some shit like that, man. You know, MIB.
Oh yeah, MIB or whatever whatever fucking Universal franchise they want to mix in.
Yeah. Look, at this point, dude, I believe more of a multiverse happening than I believe time travel happening here. Oh my god.
Who knows what's gonna happen? And they're gonna get another celebrity villain besides Charlize.
Yo, Cypher unlocks the multiverse, dude. That's what happened. That's why it's a two-parter. She unlocks the multiverse.
Sure. Yeah, why not? At this point, why not? Then John Wick comes out and the Expendables. Like
any Marvel, any Universal property comes out now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so funny, dude. But yeah, it's a let's see what happens. Dude. I don't know what else they could do at this point, especially for a two-parter. So hopefully they have,
right. I don't know.
I mean, who would have thought they would have made 9 films? But
well,
here we are.
they won't run out of actors because no one dies in this series, not even the villains. So
yeah, it sounds like
they can use anyone.
They have to bring back Luke Evans also.
Luke Evans, yep.
And
they got to bring back the Queen, Helen Mirren,
and the girl. What's her name?
The sister. Yeah, the sister.
Yeah, what's her name?
I don't know the White Queen from Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but I forgot the actress's name.
I don't remember.
Whatever. Anyways, they got to bring her back, so it's gonna be hopefully they do that. Like I really want all these characters to come back.
If they do all of that, they'll bring back The Rock. They will.
I really want that. That's the ultimate fan service. After 9 movies,
yeah,
have everybody come back. And I want the Tokyo Drift people to have more screen time.
Yeah, to have them be part of the heist or whatever they got to do.
Yeah, be part of the crew. They went to the barbecue there. That means they're part of the crew now.
Oh, yeah, with the fucking Corona commercial. Yep.
It's so nasty, dude. Can't believe after all these years, they're still drinking Coronas.
Gross.
Family's drinking nasty. All right. Any last thoughts, Pedro?
Nah, man, that about wraps it all up.
Awesome, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this review of Fast 9, F9, the Fast Saga. You can watch it in theaters right now. I believe at some point, Universal is gonna put it on Peacock, so you're just gonna have to wait for it. If you don't want to watch it in theaters, it is. They have to. This is such a big movie and they want to promote their streaming service, so this has to go into Peacock. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe even in 6 months, 3 months, something like that. After the movie's, it's over. But anyways, you could go watch it in theaters. Currently out right now. But let us know what you thought. Do you agree with our opinions? Do you think the ridiculousness was just about right for you? Let us know. Till next time.
Bye-bye.